Good afternoon. Welcome to our Maps Talk. I'm Reverend Canon Anderson Madimilo from the Diocese of Mpwapwa, Tanzania. I'm also a captain in the church army. And this is my wife, Mary. This afternoon, we are going to focus on how the Anglican Church can share a holistic gospel that includes a spiritual message and practical help. In this talk, Up from Poverty, I want to tell you specifically what we are doing to provide business education for our church leaders. You may be wondering, where is Tanzania? Many Americans have only a vague idea of where our beautiful country is in Africa. The red box shows that Tanzania is in East Africa on the Indian Ocean. Tanzania spans the equator. Right now, we are in the dry season. The red balloon shows my hometown, which is about 2 hours by car east of Dodoma and about an 8-hour drive west of the largest city in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. You pronounce the name of our town Mpwapwa. Can you say it? Mpwapwa. Correct. Here is a map of our diocese, the Diocese of Mpwapwa. We have 500 churches with some 200,000 members. From these numbers, you can imagine that it is a big job to train all our church leaders. I was born in Chamhawi, where all of us were poor. The gospel came to our village in 1876. My great-grandfather accepted Jesus. I still have his prayer book. My grandfather was the chief. The photo shows his grave, out of which has grown a big tree. We say that the chief is still the chief because the branches of the tree reach out over the whole cemetery. He is still trusting God to protect his people. In 1982, the Lord called me into the ministry. I studied in Dodoma and in the United States. In 2016, as I was working on my master's thesis, I realized that physical transformation is part of spiritual formation. Healing is part of salvation. Our people are hungry. 85% of our people are subsistence farmers. This means that if it doesn't rain, crops don't grow and people starve. People need money, not only for food, but also to pay college fees for their children, to buy houses, and to purchase health services. Education provides opportunity. You can give a man fish, or you can teach him to fish. Which is the better in the long run? Sometimes I feel that our church is so focused on spiritual things that we ignore people's practical needs. So I asked myself, what can the church do to lift people out from poverty? Pastors are natural community leaders. I decided I wanted to train our pastors in how to start a business, how to farm God's way, how to care for animals, how to manage finances, how to use computers, and anything else that they can use to inspire their congregations in a creative way to meet our challenges. In Matthew chapter 14, we have the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. This story records an interesting exchange between the disciples and Jesus. The disciples said, "Send the crowds away so they can buy some food." But Jesus said, "They don't need to go away. you give them something to eat. Then he fed them with a small lunch brought to his evangelistic meeting by a boy. If God can use the lunch of a boy, we believe he can use you to bless others. In 2019, we started to build the Chamhawi Education Center. We started with nothing in terms of money. There was no one to fund our development. The diocese gave us 100 acres of land that has never been developed and that has a stream that flows all year round. Since we teach our church leaders to start with what you have, we decided we should do the same. So we started with what we had, land. This is an important photo. It shows the bishop on the left telling our church leaders that the land we are standing on needs to be developed by us into the Chamhawi Education Center. This photo shows what our land looked like before we started the farm. It was covered by weeds and bushes with thorns. Here, you see our volunteers clearing the weeds and thorns by hand. It was long and hard work to prepare for planting crops. Then we had to remove the remaining stumps. Volunteers used their muscles to remove the stumps with simple tools. The video shows men and women working together.
Taku. Waliweka taku. Waliweka? Wameweka madirishani mimi ndio tulikuwa tunafanya kazi. Okay. Sawa. People are very busy now. Yeah, for the stems. Moving out the stems.
From the photos, you can see an idea of the results of our efforts. From nothing to 18 pigs, from nothing to 120 liters of sunflower oil, from nothing to 600 kilograms of maize, and our bees are producing honey. This was our first harvest of onions in 2020. We harvested 100 kilograms bags of onions. Here you see them filling more than one room. In 2021, we broke ground on the first building that will become the Chamhawi Education Center. It will have 2 classrooms and 2 offices. Since then, we built a road to the construction site and a tank for holding water. Next, we plan to build toilets, dormitories, a cafeteria, and a library. But even though our buildings are still under construction, we are already trained church leaders. The photo shows one of our graduating classes in 2021. These people are not pastors, they are catechists. They teach the Bible in their church and support the work of their pastors. During this month-long class, these students not only studied the Bible, but also learned about farming, and they worked on our farm. We also trained them in financial management, basic computer skills, and how to start a business. In summary, pastors, catechists are natural leaders in their communities. Their education must extend beyond biblical and pastoral studies. Church leaders need practical skills, including farming God's way, animal husbandry, computers, marketing, and financial management. One of our goals in this talk today is to let you know that the Lord can use you, your business, education, and skills to help us train our church leaders. You see where we started, where we are now, and where we are going. So, how can you be involved in this project? You can pray for us. If you have business skills, you can come and teach for a month, or conduct a weekend seminar, or a conference. You can Zoom with us to make a presentation. There are many possibilities. Finally, we always need financial support. The QR code connects to the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul in Roanoke, Virginia. If you contribute, we will acknowledge your contribution for tax purposes. There is much work to be done. Sometimes the task feels overwhelming. In Luke chapter 5, Jesus challenged Peter to go out into the deep and let down the nets for a catch of fish. They caught so many fish that verse 7 says, they signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help them. So they came and filled both the boats until they began to sink. Come and help us. We have a large catch of fish. We have many opportunities for the gospel. Thank you for listening to my presentation.